Hi there, Megan Jansen here. I'm excited to jump into the topic this month. I want to do it as a response to a article that was written and surfaced only about a couple of weeks ago on the concept that we need to focus less on individual focused mental well-being programs at our workplace and more on the greater good of the organization. And in part, I agree. And in other parts, I say, why not have both? So the first one I wanted to mention, there's five areas of focus I'd like to share. One is the notion of individual level mental well-being initiatives like mindfulness and resiliency and stress management lessons and programs that have support different apps and mindfulness and meditation apps, various programs and resources we might offer to the employees on their own agreed. They don't drive the engagement that we likely want. I presented at a conference just not that long ago, and I knew that the employees had access to this brand new meditation app. So I asked the question, we were talking about this in the session. I said, well, how many of you have accessed or are using the particular resource? And maybe three hands out of 50 popped up. And nor did the VPs and executive hands go up. So that really showed this exact example of the individually engaged mental well-being options really aren't engaged well by the individuals. And there's reasons behind that. I think really what it comes down to is the strategic alignment of these various opportunities and resources are important. And we need to make sure that they are aligned with the organizational goals and objectives of the workplace. If the workplace wants to become healthier, a focus on mental well-being, we have to be able to share that message. The article also talked about kind of focusing more on the the working practices. And I really truly disagree with this. I think that a lot of workplaces have done very well in changing direction and shifting because of our, the last several years of pandemic. And we have seen a definite increase in more employers, changing some of their plans regarding flexibility. We see a lot more workplaces focusing on more hybrid model of work. And we see also a lot more employee recognition. There is an element of mental well-being that comes along with how our practices are carried out in our workplaces. And I think employers are doing a really good job of that. So I can't say I agree with that completely within the article. A third element I want to mention is the recognition of how some of these initiatives, the mental well-being initiatives on their own don't drive any change. And I 100% agree with that. Activity does the changing, not just words, not just, having something available and saying something's available, but truly showcasing participation in activity with some of these things. And I love asking this question. I mean, how many senior leaders, managers, and supervisors are using these particular things? If they're not using them, we can't expect our employees to use them. So lead by example. Whatever is offered, if you want to see some changes and some engagement in some of these resources and opportunities, then we have to see some of that participation from the top. And that credibility and power and authority come a long way to modeling that behavior. So if we want to see change using some of these things, then model it yourself. So I love that lesson. A fourth element of this is, and this really comes back, good gracious, a long time ago, when we started this business 20 years ago, we started talking about, well, maybe if we look at this and how we position it, it's going to make a difference. It is truly the case. If you have to travel 4 pages deep on an intranet to find information about various things that are offered, you're not going to get that engagement at all. So it does happen to have to do with some positioning. Keep it visible, keep it front of mind. And all of these things can be very attractive to the employee if they know about them. And oftentimes they don't. They're inundated with 3,000 other things to do. So keeping it visible and positioning it in alignment with some of those organizational goals is critical. The fifth and final point I wanted to make on this is a note toward the culture, organizational culture. Anything that's offered, and the article was pretty weak in this regard because I don't think it got into nearly what it probably could have. But the point on recognizing that anything we offer employees is in direct alignment with culture. And if the culture isn't a healthy one, it doesn't support a culture of caring or nurturing a culture of caring, it is challenging to dangle that carrot. We can only dangle that carrot so much. And so recognizing that if you build it, they don't always come is pretty rare, is pretty real for workplaces. We have to recognize that there is an intrinsic motivation. It is up to the individuals to engage in your wellness program and the initiatives that you do bring to the table. We have all of the tools. We have dietitians at the grocery stores. We have, these guiding star programs to help us make decisions at the grocery store. We have, exercise apps, and we have, budgeting tools. Do we use them? The reality is some do, some don't. And that's the reality with our workplace wellness programs. Some will, some won't. The consistency of message, the support and the organizational direction and alignment of strategic goal setting, and changing and being flexible if need be is really a key part in making our wellness programs that much more successful and that much more reasonable. So yes, the focus on individual initiatives and this argument, do less of that and do more of the greater good of the organization. My argument is in part yes, but truly make them both work. And you can definitely see some changes and successes within a wellness program if we're able to do that. Thank you.